What's going on, guys? We're back with another Ultra Rumble video, and today we're talking about the new Hawks that's being added to the game. We'll show off all of his new quirks, the damage, the combos, the potential, everything, and we'll be discussing whether or not he's worth rolling for. So if you enjoy these kind of videos, make sure you drop a like. It definitely helps support the channel, and subscribe so you don't miss those videos in the future. But with all that said, let's jump into the breakdown. So right off the bat, at level 1, his alpha does 48 a hit. And for 3 hits, you will do a knockdown. And honestly, let's check those numbers because I am hitting an assault character, so that's going to skew the numbers a little bit. So if you're fighting a regular character that's not assault, because that damage goes up by 2, so you'll do 50 per hit. And again, 3 hits and you get a knockdown. You get 4 shots at level 1. As you can see, the reload speed on it is, pretty standard, I would say. And if you hold it, you get a 3-hit knockdown that pulls enemies towards you. This is going to be a great combo starter, and that's pretty much his alphas at level 1. So again, you can hold it to kind of hold yourself in place. You can jump around with it. Yeah, it's pretty decent range. I would say the range on this is medium to long, but very limited on the long part of that. So like right here, you're fine. You go back a little, still can get a hit, and go back about here, and this is where you're gonna start seeing it, kind of fizzle out. So again, medium to long range is what his alphas offer right now, and as you can see, the cooldown is pretty standard. You're not gonna be waiting 30 or 20 seconds for it to come back, but you will feel it in certain situations, so be aware of that. And just like all of his new attacks in his kit, everything gets better at level 7. So at level 7, not only does the damage go up, obviously, so you're going up from 50 a hit to 64, but now when you charge it, you get 3 tornadoes instead of the 1. And again, this is going to be your best combo starter. As you can see, you can get multiple hits off of the tornado, so up to 4 if they all group together properly, but if they don't, it again sets up that combo startup. And let me make one quick change. And again, the range on it doesn't increase or improve even if you aim in. You're getting the same distance. Cooldown is about the same. You can improve it a little bit with technical teammates or popping tech cards, but again, you're going to feel some of these cooldowns, and you'll notice them more and more as we go. But again, the range on it, not super great, but not terrible. And just for the sake of showing max damage, so at max level, you're doing 70 a hit, so you're up from 50 all the way up to 70. And then if you do a charged hit, you get 75. Again, great combo starter, but keep in mind you're definitely going to want to get all his quirks up to level 7 at the very least. But starting out, you're going to want to pick one of them to get to level 7 because they all get better at level 7. Which one you find as your go-to or your favorite, you'll have to figure it out once you get your hands on them. But level 7 is when stuff starts getting good for Hawks. So before we do that, let's check out his beta. Switching over. Level 1, you do 108 right off the bat. And then once you get both charges used, you head into a pretty lengthy cooldown. So again, keep in mind when you're fighting or looking to get away or something, that cooldown on the beta can, you're definitely going to feel that in certain situations. But whether you tap it or hold it, the damage is the same, and the distance you travel is the same, I believe. Yeah, so no real change, whether you hold it or just tap it. But again, getting up to level 7, you'll see your first change. and that's with the addition of hyper armor. So now you can charge this up, and take a hit or two. You won't be able to be interrupted for a second. But as you can feel, the cooldown on it is roughly about the same. You're still going to be waiting for that to come back for more than a few seconds. But again, the addition of hyper armor is a good thing, but I wouldn't put an overabundant amount of faith in what that'll stop or protect you from. And moving it up to level 9, max level damage 148. And again, whether you charge it or just hold it, 148 is what you're going to be doing. And again, this is base kit. This is no tuning, no added attack damage or anything like that. This is all his raw damage, which, again, another disclaimer, this can all change. They can buff him, they can nerf him during maintenance. You never know what the final damage will be until the character is fully implemented into the game. So again, take all of this with a bit of a grain of salt. Because again, sometimes they might do nothing to him during maintenance, but also they could be looking at his overall damage and saying, he could be a bit stronger, especially when you're comparing him to characters like One for All Deku and Prime All for One. So again, just keep that in mind, but those are his damage numbers for his beta so far. But switching over to his gamma, if you just tap it, you get a spiraling swirl of sword play and you do 74 damage. You get 1 charge at level 1, and if you hold it fully and get to the last hit, you get 102 damage. Cooldown isn't too bad. It's a pretty good move. You can hit multiple enemies. You can use it and mix it with your melee. You can mix it up with some mobility if you want. So this is going to be a pretty fun thing to add in his kit. And once you again get it to level 7, that's where things start to change a little bit. The cooldown doesn't really improve all that much from what I can tell. And again, if you get that last hit, now you'll mark enemies. Whether you tap it or hold it, that last hit is going to mark them. And you can see it can do up to 110 damage. See if we can get every hit. Sometimes it does 96, depending on how many hits you can get off on it. And then showing what max level looks like. So you're consistently doing 100 damage. Let's tweak the reload speed real quick, and I want to test something. So with 2 strike cards, two rapid cards activated, yeah, you can get in those extra hits pretty consistently. So that's something to keep in mind. So whether you're using double rapid cards or maybe even One for All Deku's new tuning, acceleration, which activates on melee, you might be able to get the speed boost you need to get that extra hit consistently. And again, that's 142 damage each time. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good damage. Again, this character will be a strike. I know he's layered over his rapid variant, just for the sake of getting this mod in, but this will be a strike. And as you can see, his damage isn't anything to laugh at. But getting into some of his combos. So again, charged alpha is going to be one of his best combo starters. And depending on your speed, you can get that set up for a third follow-up for the alpha hit. So you charge it. And again, look at her health. She would be dead essentially. So again, charge alpha into beta. You don't have to charge that, by the way. he's gonna have some pretty fine combos. And again, I'm not a Hawks expert or main by any means, so I'm more interested in seeing what the elite Hawks players who really dedicate their time and energy to learning all of his combos and melee setups and everything. I'm interested in seeing what they'll be able to pull off. I'm just giving you a glimpse of some of the things you'll be able to do with them once you actually get your hands on them. But again, pretty reliable combo, alpha into beta into alpha. Does pretty good damage, especially on health. But you know, you can do alpha into alpha. Sometimes you can get that off 3 times. It's very situational, but you might be able to sneak a 3rd hit in sometime. I honestly think I might be rushing that 2nd hit. Yeah, so if you don't rush the 2nd hit, you can get 3 hits off with the alpha. So yeah, 3-hit alpha combo. Alpha into gamma, but you only want to get that 1 hit off the alpha, the gamma on the final hit. But again, you guys can, you can see the vision. Yeah, that's pretty much what he has to offer in terms of combos. Again, you can practice with him yourself once you get him into training. That's what I would recommend, especially if you're on the fence about picking him up. If you're a Hawks main, this is an instant buy. Like, you're going to have fun just figuring out all the new stuff he can do, all the different situations you can use his new quirks in. I'm not sure how he'll do in like a one-on-one against Rapid Hawks, because Rapid Hawks Alpha just has so much versatility to it. Like, you can shoot enemies while you're flying away from them or while you're flying towards them. That versus this, which again is a great combo starter, it just doesn't have the same range. And again, applying that into a one-on-one fight scenario is going to be pretty situational, especially against a Rapid Hawks. So again, I don't think he's OP. I think he's actually in a really good place damage-wise. Like, I don't think anything about his kit is unfair or overbearing or too oppressive or anything like that. Like, you can't combo his melee like you used to. Like, let me try something. So yeah, like, you cannot cancel that into virtually anything. Yeah, so by the time you finish that melee combo, that's pretty much it. So there are no follow-ups you can do from that. But again, he feels good. As you know, the game has gotten a lot more chaotic with recent additions, like this fine gentleman here. You have a young All-for-One on the way later this month. And again, I don't know. Like, he's definitely not bottom tier. I'll say that. He's not the bottom of the list. I'm not sure why I will rank him among strike characters specifically. But as you can see, his damage is respectable across the board, especially at max level. He does have the ability to track enemies. He does still have, his mobility. But nothing about this character screams, just OP or broken. Like, I don't feel like he has a dominant matchup with any character in the game. Like, I don't feel like there's any character in this game currently where he just completely dominates them, or they don't have much of a chance. Like, out of a 10-time battle, like, 7 out of 10 times he wins easily or anything like that. I feel like every character has a legitimate chance to beat him, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually good. I feel like the game needs more, characters like that in the future, where, you're just a good addition to the game while also being balanced. So whether it's an older character or a more newer release, the fights can go either way is what I think would be ideal. That's how a lot of the older characters in the initial release felt. Like, some fights can be one-sided depending on the situation. Like if you're outside with All Might versus Strike Shigaraki, All Might has the advantage, but if that same fight is forced indoors by the Storm, then obviously Shigaraki stands a much better chance, and they've improved him, even more since then in updates to make that less of a one-sided matchup. So now his alphas do damage on All Might even while he's in Tornado. So I feel like moving in that direction should be the norm, but again, crazy OP characters are what sells. When someone doesn't do a ton of damage, they're considered boring, underwhelming, or not worth the money or the tickets. So again, I don't think Hawks is a bad role, especially if you're a Hawks main. If you're on the fence, again, I would suggest just trying him out in practice, maybe taking a friend or two, and just seeing how you do in certain matchups, how he feels. How you can use his mobility in different situations, whether or not his attacks work for you. That way you're not disappointed if you do ultimately roll for him and feel like you wasted your tickets, or you wasted tickets pursuing something you ultimately didn't actually enjoy. So before rolling for anything, I would always say, just as a rule of thumb, take him into practice and give him a try. But that's going to pretty much do it for this video, guys. I definitely hope if you are planning a roll for him, you get him on the first roll and don't have to blow through all your tickets. But if you do have to, go through a decent amount of tickets, I hope you ultimately get them in the end. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. As always, are you planning a roll for Hawks? Are you maybe saving your tickets for one for all or a bigger release in the future? Just let me know. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss more in the future. Thank you guys as always for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.